so many social media platforms, so many ways to market, but you got to do it in the way you like to do it.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're not going to do it, right? It's not going to be natural to
Well,
you.
you could do it, Mark, but then it's not effective, right? Because you
Right.
hear all the gurus telling you, you need to be on video, you need to be putting that out there. And for me, I was like, I don't think that's the best way of me connecting to my ideal client.
Today we have special guest Nicole Mickle, who is going to blow our minds in the world of Pinterest. And we have Mark Choi, CEO of HighNote, here to ask questions along with us. And Mark comes at it from a great angle as well, because he was a brokerage, even though Pinterest really wasn't a massive thing when he was doing it. He's going to bring some real estate related questions to the table as well. So why don't we just get right into it today? Nicole, tell us, a little bit about you, your history, how you got into real estate. You and I've known each other almost 10 years, and it's funny how we bump into each other, every 2 or 3 years, and it feels like every time I feel like we talk, it's like yesterday. It's only like a day or two went by. Like, that's always been our relationship. So absolutely. I love your story. Why don't you tell everybody else kind of how you got in the game, and where you've taken your business until recently.
Well, I'm a real estate agent now in Orlando, but many years ago, started in the business, and 20 years ago, I was a mortgage broker. From being a mortgage broker, I migrated into the short sale world when the last downturn happened. And that's when I became a real estate agent, not to sell real estate, but more of a protective measure to go ahead and orchestrate and facilitate for an attorney who was doing short sales. Okay. Wow. So once I became that short sale go-to agent and they started to fizzle out, I was like, well, I want to do more traditional sales. And I wasn't having the same effect as a structure of a business that I did with mortgages. So my angle was to go with social media, because I always knew how to kind of work marketing. But social media for real estate was kind of like really interesting, because I was able to use my love of photography and being creative, and Instagram was my first, platform of choice. And then it migrated over into LinkedIn and, Google business, and Pinterest was the one that I felt like was next on the block that wasn't being utilized. And I just dove right into it in 2019, researching it, understanding it, taking classes from the gurus and not understanding what the heck they were saying, and then kind of just doing it my way. And that's how I was able to connect it and grow to 75,000 followers now, and create not just one business, but multiple businesses within one platform.
That's awesome. Let me jump in here. Then you said, do Pinterest your way.
Yes.
And I would love to hear that. We would love to hear what your way is on Pinterest, because I think that's critical, because there's so many platforms out there, so many social media platforms, so many ways to market, but you got to do it in the way you like to do it. Correct. Otherwise, you're not going to do it, right? It's not going to be natural to you.
You could do it, Mark, but then it's not effective, right? Because you hear all the gurus telling you, you need to be on video, you need to be putting that out there. And for me, I was like, I don't think that's the best way of me connecting to my ideal client and attracting them. Because I tried it those ways. And then when I say make it your way, it's still utilizing the same foundational skills everyone is using, but visually and connecting wise, you're doing it your personal way.
Right.
So initially, I just kind of took what I was doing on Instagram and put it onto Pinterest. And it was like, okay, but I'm making all these people paying for all these beautiful photos or whatever they told me, static pins. And that didn't connect. But when I put my regular Instagram photos on, I would get triple the views. And I'm like, wait a minute. So maybe I should use and just repurpose some of my content from Instagram from a visual standpoint and put it on there. Then I started to reverse engineer why they connected to it. And just by chance, one day I was Googling something like neighborhood information, because, we all want to be neighborhood experts or niche in our own areas. So I was looking up things that were popping up on the first page of Google for a neighborhood that I wanted to work in. And lo and behold, guess what I find? Best Orlando communities, as if it was a blog post, but it was directly sending someone to my Pinterest page. And that started everything.
So it was almost accidental.
All my stuff is accidental. None of my stuff is intentional.
So before we take a deep dive into Pinterest, right? I want to stop for 1 second and go back, because you played the game in 2008, 9, and 10, right?
Yes.
Which was the last economic hiccup. So if that's what you call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things are looking very similar right now, right? I think the Fed today was talking about raising it another 75 points. It'll probably wind up being at another full point, right? And right now, people are starting to leave the industry, right? We're already seeing that. We're seeing days on market increase. We're
Yes.
seeing price reductions. We're seeing all of these indicators. What do you think, since you went through the last one, people should be doing right now to prepare? Because I said this on the last one, I think now is a great time to start to take market share.
Yes.
And start to double down.
Yes.
And just expect to maybe do a little bit less, the first 6-8 months where you get things ramped up and then go from there. But your personal view on kind of what's going on with the industry and how people can prepare. Then we'll go into the Pinterest.
Okay. So for me, I'm not seeing the same thing I did in 08, because we don't have those like back loans that are just awful. So we have really good front end people doing the financing, and you have to prove your income. Before, we had so many no income, no asset programs that you could have 3 or 4 homes and no one cared about it. That's not happening. But also, me being based in Florida does give me a different edge and insight that's going to be different from somebody in middle America or even, West Coast. But for me in Florida, we're seeing, a lot of cash still coming to the market. Is it like it was before, in April, May? No, it's not. But I just recently had to go like head to head with a buyer relocating from Venezuela, that we competed against cash, and I was able to lean into relationships and also present my client in a different way, that it was better than a cash transaction. It was more solid. So I think that's where we're going to stand out differently to people who stay in this market, who are educated, who have a lot of experience. They need us as niche marketers than anything else. They need us for those relationships. They need us for educational components that they're not going to get from the portal, that they can't understand. And I also, focus with a high level of new construction. That's not even being presented in a way online that you can capitalize really easily and market it in a different way than you ever could before. Probably, I've created partnerships with builders for listings as well as also marketing with them online. So it's a lot of opportunity, I think, that's there, as long as you have that information source. And that's why I'm telling people, all that information that realtors have, they can't pay for that. I don't care how much money or how much cash you have on the deal. If you don't understand what's going on in those zip codes and those markets, they can't compete with you. So the easiest way to go ahead and do it is to get online and show that educational component and sell them in a way, I call it educational sales. So from an educational sales point, is what I'm providing to that person as if I'm speaking directly to my ideal client. And I'm answering those questions that they're asking me individually, but I'm just going ahead and mass producing that information out on the internet.
And mostly on Pinterest?
This is on Pinterest too.
Got it. So you educate them on Pinterest.
I educate them on Pinterest and other platforms, but a lot of times I'll take an agent and I'll say to them, what are your best assets right now? Where are you killing it? Where are you deficient? And then, hey, where do you really want to go with this? Because just because you are a VA agent or FHA agent, those price points may have gone away and you want to kind of migrate into more luxury price points. This is the avenue with utilizing Pinterest that you can.
So are you working with more, would you say that you're working with more buyers right now?
It's half and half. Because now that I am considered an expert in the area, before they would just use their cousin or their friends or their whoever sent a mailer to them. But now they're doing a deeper dive and researching who's in those spaces that cover their area that they live in. And now I'm getting more listings. I even got a listing in an area that I don't know anything about because of my social media presence. They don't care.
Wow.
All right. Cool.
Wow.
All right, so let's go, thank you for that. Let's go into the Pinterest side.
Okay.
Right, and I did a quick Google this morning before this, and Pinterest is something that I don't hear a lot of. I don't hear a lot about it in the groups. I don't hear a lot of, I really don't hear of a lot of gurus talking about it. I don't hear a lot of real estate agents talking about it. And that's why, you know, when you and I had that conversation, I was blown away with what you've been able to do. But there's over 433 million active users on
Correct.
Pinterest. That is not a little baby site, right? Like, I mean, that is massive. So starting in the beginning, right? Why Pinterest and why it's such a great opportunity right now?
Because one of the SEO component, search engine optimization, is going to lead the pack for anybody. Whenever someone needs to go online, they start on Google. Sometimes it leads them to Instagram. Sometimes it's a blog post. Well, you get kind of like a buy one, get one free with Pinterest is what I said, because you're able to go to Google, you're able to capitalize on that traffic through Pinterest. And then people who are already directly related with those amount of users, they're already on the site looking up their next, you know, recipe or their next whatever. But what happens is once Pinterest knows and identifies you as their go-to person for that component or that area, I'll go through with a friend's phone so it's not cached in, right? Or I'll grab go to a computer that doesn't have anything about Pinterest in there, and then I go search. And when I go to search, you can give me a topic, I'll go search in there, and I'm like, oh, it's wide open. Okay, you can go ahead and take over this market share. You can create a community page about, give me any city, you know, in the US, and then you can create your own platform within Pinterest that they say, okay, Boise, Idaho, or DC, or Orlando, and I'm going to start coming up because they're going to see me. And it doesn't have to do about the house. The thing about it is, we're not just talking about real estate. We're creating a lifestyle component within their ecosystem. And that's how you start to control those areas.
So you create, is it a bulletin, or is it it's a page, right? So it's like Orlando Living, right?
And board. Mm-hmm.
It's a board. Okay, so it's, yes. You create a board. Step one is go in, look at your market, type in my home, you know, for sale. Yes. Look at Pinterest, and then if there's nothing really there, yes, you go in and you create a board, yes, around Orlando Living, right? Or Orlando Luxury, yes, Living, right?
Yeah, correct.
Then what do you do?
Then you're going to go ahead and take things from your cell phone that you already had or old listings, and maybe just show the front of the home, an interior shot of the home. You want to mix it up. You don't want it to be like plug and play. I always tell people, take that extra time with Pinterest, because this is something that's going to be cultivated for years to come. I have pins from 2 years ago that's popping up and become relevant, and they take wildfire. So don't think it's going to be an instant gratification like you would if you posted something on Facebook or Instagram. It can keep playing and playing and playing, and you're not doing anything. That's the one thing about Pinterest.
And that's a great strategy. That's what I loved about our conversation, right? Like Mark and I are on this thing of creating things that are evergreen, that continuously yield, right? And we're focused on YouTube and right in our group. And I think that that's the real way, because like it seems like Instagram and TikTok and even Facebook, like you put it out there and it's got a shelf life. You know, like a piece of sushi. It's got 6 hours and it's done, right?
It's gone into the next trendy song comes or whatever with this. And this is touching on me, you know, on a high level individual too. Remember that. So maybe you are looking for a certain demographic, and that's why I'm like, who am I talking to? Who am I connecting to? Who do I want to get to know better? And who do I want to go invite into my business? I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I don't need to have every client as my client, you know, because that's taking away my life. You know, I want to make sure that I'm providing them a service that they love. And then they want to go ahead and tell all their good friends about it too. Or what's happening now, even with Pinterest, they're sharing that information. Hey, check out this board, or check out this, you know. And then I'll get somebody texting me and saying, hey, I just found you on Pinterest. Can you help me with this? And that changes that direction and narrative of the type of client you're working with.
Right. They come and reaching for you.
Correct.
Yeah. And then we're a big fan of this hyper local strategy. When I was an agent and I took it to another level, and I just moved into one community and focused on those 600 homes in that one community. And I remember when we met 2 years ago, and you were just starting, I mean, you doing the Pinterest thing and you were focusing in Orlando. And I think we had a conversation about this, about being so hyper local, but sticking with this strategy and going. And now you've just blown up. It's incredible. And let me ask you this Orlando board that you created. Do you also create different neighborhoods for Orlando, like have separate sections for Orlando?
Yes, I'm doing that now even more in depth, that I've understood how it's working, and I'm like super excited about it. But so you can go as hyper as you want to. Like you're saying, if you had those 600 communities, right? They have community events. They have certain things they have a niche for. Maybe it's modern architecture. Then boom, guess what you're doing? Another board for modern architecture. Then you're going to go ahead and do one that's probably going to go more skilled stores for the school zones. Maybe that's what they. All of the top things. When I talk to agents I'm working with, I'll say, give me the top 10 things why they want to move there, and sell me, because I don't know that market. And then once they tell me that, then I go searching for it. I'm like, oh, well, they don't have this, they don't have this. So I give them ideas of what they can post inside of those boards that's going to get their clients potentially excited and make it shareable content.
Do you repin other people's pins?
No.
No, you make your own.
Yeah.
Is that the secret? Is that the secret? If you repin some, oh, I see. Because if you repin someone else's pin, like another agent, then they're going to see that pin. Whoever's going to see that pin.
Yeah, that's So say for instance, you have a team member, okay? That would be where you would want to go ahead and kind of highlight your team member, because maybe your team member works only with school teachers, or, you know, whatever their niche is. It's like, okay, we have this group board. So that's why I tell people when we have the 4 steps, you want to make sure the bio is optimized to what you want it for, right? Secondary is create group boards for those hyper local components to your business. Where do you want to be an expert? Where are you an expert? And what knowledge do you have to be an expert in? Because you're talking directly to your client. But then secondary, you want to go ahead and create group boards that could be potentially people that's in your relocation network. For me, I do relocation. So I have other agents that I work with across the country and out of the country. So that could be another thing. Maybe you do some boards internationally that go ahead and feed those people who are connecting to you in your group of folks. So you're basically taking a traditional offline concept and flipping it into an online concept. It's nothing. I know the tricks of certain things and trends because I stay on top of it. But the biggest premise is basically what's your traditional old school way of doing business and just putting it on Pinterest.
And it works for you really well. Sorry, Randy, because Florida is a huge relo market, right? Like just the other day, I saw an article, like everyone's leaving, not everyone, but there's a lot of people leaving San Francisco, New York, and LA. And they showed like where each, the number one location for each of these cities are. And for San Francisco, it was like Seattle, Washington, I think. And then for LA, it was, I can't even remember where LA was, but New York, Florida, right? And Miami was number one, and Orlando was definitely up there. But I mean, so with this change in interest rates, what are people looking to do, right? They're looking to reduce their housing costs. And so they're gonna have to move to a less expensive area, right? So relo is kind of a good thing for you.
Well, relo could be in 2 different lights. So I'm hearing that too. But people coming to Florida are not coming here just for more affordability.
Yeah.
They're coming here for a lifestyle shift and change. And I think that's what the pandemic did. People are like, do I really need all of my ski vacations when I really enjoy being at the beach? You know, maybe I'll sell those and then take that money and buy a $2 million house in Miami, you know? They're coming to us for different reasons. And that's why I like connecting to people online, because I get that info and intel directly from them, because they'll tell me, you know, this is what I need. Like my pool pages, those really do a lot, because it's almost like an ASMR effect to people. And they'll say they come there just to kind of calm down because, you know, waterfalls help them, you know, anything. So you're getting to understand what people really want and how they want to execute their lifestyles a little bit differently than they were forced to do before. And they're taking sometimes away from something else and putting it into their home.
Got it. Got it. Randy, what do you think? Do you think it makes sense to share your board, to share the Pinterest board, Nicole's board?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple things. So first of all, doing the community page.
Yes.
Then you're posting pictures of the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Then what are some other posts? Oh, perfect. Like these are some step-by-steps of what kind of stuff that you post. And you
Okay.
got 79
videos. There's a lot of videos you got here.
Correct. Because I'm also a Pinterest creator, so I get paid to post these too.
What?
Yeah, so they don't care who we are. They'll go in and they need this content because they give you every month what's needed on Pinterest that people are searching for. And if they don't have that content, I could be placed in the #1 position and you go viral. You know, that could happen. I don't want agents focusing on being viral because there's so many ways to having like 500 followers that you can really capitalize on it. And this is a way that they can kind of use how to utilize in HighNote as well, of how they can go ahead and kind of duplicate some of the same things inside of Pinterest, right? So my HighNotes talk about my new construction communities when I send those out to my clients, or if I'm doing a listing presentation or a buyer, submission of offers to understand exactly what's going on. But I can take that same information, copy and paste it, and put it into a caption directly onto a Pinterest board, and then it goes into a whole different component of people that we're reaching and touching.
Wow. Thanks for the plug, Nicole.
when you click on one of these, did you make every single one of these videos?
Yes, I make them. I love this. This is like some people play golf. I do Pinterest.
Let's watch one of these.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this was an Instagram post that I used to make a reel, right? So this is your version of the reel or TikTok on Pinterest. It's called the pin idea. So creating these pin ideas gives someone, that thought process. But what happens is with the pin idea, this could also spark that interest of, I can utilize this idea, but then I flip it to the community that I presented, like I took these videos from. So you can use your videos in multiple different ways at different times. So go back to the front, Randy. Okay. So when first, like,
let me go back to your front.
Yeah, the homepage. So let me
your homepage, yours, or okay, there you go.
Here. Okay, scroll down. So let me show you this one pin. Stop. Wait a minute, stop. Come back up. Come back to the very top. It's the one that's talking about 3 staging ideas.
3 staging ideas. Let me see.
One of the very first ones, I think.
This one? How to stage your small space in 3 easy steps? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
that one right there actually landed me an article invite from Redfin.
Ooh.
That one. Check out.
So Instagram's got basically a Reels or TikTok feature as well, I guess,
yes,
right? Yeah.
That's it. And that's what they're promoting the most.
So you got 37 likes. How many views, and why did it go viral, and how many views did it ultimately get?
Let me see how many views that one got. This one.
I'm gonna follow you, Nicole.
This one it got 3,700 views.
Nice.
And I posted it on October 9th, and that was to October 9th and November 2nd, but most of those views came in pretty quickly. I had 15 people to save it, 18 profile visits, and 6 follows. But I also took this same pin and shared it on LinkedIn.
Oh.
And that probably doubled the exposure of it because I'm trying some different ways to kind of repurpose the content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got the email from Redfin that wanted to include me in an article, which, people are like, oh, Redfin, but here's the deal. They're one of the biggest,
Yeah.
So when you're talking about linking back to me talking about my staging, that could be exposure for listings in addition to a huge link back that's connected to my website at NicoleMickle.com.
Mm. And the thing is, you talk all about design and staging in these. Do you ever talk about like how to buy a home, or how do you?
I have not done that part. I'll do certain things about new construction, and I have a pen for that. But what I utilize first is the reason why people come to me, because most people come to me because of the decor. It's almost like a bait and switch concept. They're like looking at this stuff and they're like, oh, I want to stage my house to look like this. Or,
Yeah.
you know, and they'll DM me for certain things. So what I'll do is I just create things that they're looking for based on my most recent requests from clients.
And I think that that's smart. I was, Mark and I were talking about like
soft selling.
Well, why people are attracted to certain things. And I think the like 3 steps to buying a house, right? I think that that's a little played out, to be honest with you. And I don't think that design and decor will ever be. Styles will change, but men and women alike, I think are drawn towards different design elements. Like Kelly got done doing some fancy wallpaper in our place. And, I would have never thought of that, but she's always here getting different ideas. And then all of a sudden, boom, right? I think that the design play is really interesting, right? Or it could be architecture as well.
Yeah, architecture is huge because when you come to Florida, everybody's like, we're kind of sick of this Florida home. So they'll say to me, okay, so see this one right here with the stairs, the raw stairs, that says your guide to building your Florida home?
Yep.
That gets quite a bit of engagement. And it's like an evergreen piece that will keep going for a while because people have had so many issues with buying a house in Florida. They don't understand how homes are built here. So you can educate in so many different ways with that. And then I link them over to my article about new construction that then links them into different neighborhoods. And that way they're getting an educational component. I'm positioning myself as an expert in new construction in Florida. And those things that they're asking about are going to be in there. And then also they can call me. They comment, they'll DM, they do all kind of stuff. Right. But once they understand I'm a real person and I'm not just trying to shove the sale down their throat, it becomes more of a relationship being established.
Absolutely. So you have a link to new construction, and this is how you position yourself. Perfect.
Yeah, and everybody take note. She has a lead magnet, right? She has something to download, which is allowing them to get more information from her. And she's got a link there redirecting them to a specific site, not a general site. And that's one thing that I often talk about is be very, very intentional on your direction on where you send people. Don't just say, go to my main page.
Yeah.
Like go to a specific page that you want them so that they don't have to figure out where they need to go.
Right.
Somebody actually asked a question.
Oh, sure.
It says, what app were you using to create your content? Like your reel?
That's my cell phone. And then if you see like the nice sharp angles, that's going to be what's the one, not a GoPro, but the one that has a swivel on it. I don't even use that often.
Oh, a gimbal?
The gimbal, that's all that is.
Yeah. So you just use your phone, you take these pictures or these videos and then you stitch them together on an app, or you stitch them together?
I use their platform. See, that's the other thing. The pro tip in this is utilizing their software.
Right.
Yes, it's easier to go pull it off of TikTok. Yes, it's easier to go ahead and put it in some of the other apps. But if you use their apps the way you need to, I just organize myself differently. New construction, Lake Nona, new construction, Winter Garden. So then I can go ahead and just grab and play with what I need to create it within their apps. The more you use their stuff, their music, their fonts, they're going to go ahead and push you up higher into their algorithm, and they're going to go ahead and present your information because that's native to what they're offering their clients. Nice. So I play well in the sandbox.
Yeah. Nice. And then there's a sponsored product here.
Yes.
Right? The robot. So how did that happen? Does that Pinterest automatically feeds that, or do you have to allow that?
With me being an early beta Tester within there, being a Pinterest creator, I'm able to have my Amazon store linked into my actual pins. So I have
Wait a
an
minute.
Amazon
You have an
store.
Amazon store connected to your Pinterest
Mhm.
profile? Tell us more.
Well,
Tell us more about
Yeah, that's incredible.
So that's going into the website. So those links, if I have sponsored content within my blog post that I'm linking out to them, then I can also link out the specific product line directly to the pin idea that then can go directly to them. So it's two different ways that I'm getting paid for that as well.
So wait, your Amazon seller account, right? You have an affiliate.
I'm an affiliate to Amazon and also affiliate to another company.
Fantastic.
And Pinterest pays you to post.
Yes.
So can anybody work? I mean, like, that's kind of incredible because Facebook don't do that, Instagram don't do that, right? They're like,
No, they pay you too. They're paying. They just don't pay like Pinterest. Pinterest is the #1 paid platform. Yeah.
really?
Oh yeah. I'm getting
And
paid
how much?
for Instagram too.
And what's a range that somebody could make by posting their real estate stuff to Pinterest?
Right now you could probably range around $3,000 a month.
Really? That's incredible.
Randy's thinking, what can I get? What can I start posting?
Well,
on
I mean,
Pinterest?
I don't want people to focus on that. That wasn't the focus in the beginning.
I understand that, right? But
It's a byproduct of building out these platforms. That's why I want real estate agents to understand there's so much available to them if they have the knowledge. You know, I'm not, and that's what I tell people, the stuff that I'm creating, like my first workbook should come out for Instagram guide. I don't want every agent getting that. I want agents who have a ton of information.
Yeah.
You
start with the goal, which is education
client.
about your thing. Yeah.
Your client is serving that client in a way. So that stuff when you're driving around and you're like, oh yeah, they just opened up this new brewery that's here and everybody's gonna the grand opening. Make sure you guys put that on your list and go and do this. And you know, that's the stuff that people want to know. People want to know how long has this coffee shop been here?
Yeah.
Okay, where else can I go ahead and get, you know, the best bagel in town? I'm from Jersey. I'm from New York. It sucks in Orlando with that. I'm like, well, dude, you can't get that unless you fly back to New York. But let me tell you about this guy who just opened up one who was sick of eating gross, you know, bagels. And, you know, he started in his house, it blew up, started doing well. Let me go ahead and give you that information. So that's part of my content strategy as well. It's not just about the house. It's about building out a community that people know I'm the go-to. So even if they bought a house from me, they'll call me, you know, Nicole, where am I getting my nails done? I need to go get highlights, or for my hair. It's like all kind of stuff I'm doing.
Oh my gosh, I'm from New York too, and we're coming out to Orlando for NAR. You got to tell us where the great bagels are to get.
Look, I got to get in that line early in the morning because he only makes so many per day. So he has this whole supply and demand concept going too.
Oh my gosh, we got to hit you up with that.
I want people to understand this. You kind of utilize these platforms as Trojan horse, if you will. Like where everybody else is trying to create a personal brand with their face, you've taken it a different direction. You're creating a brand within a community. So you're branding the community. And then you're just like, oh, if you want real estate, like this is all connected to Nicole. But it's not your face, which is what everybody's teaching right now. Like everyone out there is like, you just got to keep putting your face out there. You just got to keep putting your face out there. And I think that, you know, not everybody's cut out for that, first of all, right?
Yeah.
And second of all, this casts a much bigger net. And also, I think it's more of a transferable asset long-term to build out a team.
Yes.
Because if somebody's just connecting with you as the face of it, right? How to buy a house, right? Why not to rent? You know, like all the typical stuff. This will live forever.
Yes, and that's what's happening right now. I have an agent that's offered to buy my Instagram along the website, all connected together. So it's giving me different ideas of how to monetize and other ways for the future business. But also, I enjoy what I'm doing. I just don't I can't do it at the high scale before. So that's why I want to create a community of agents who want to do this, and that we can kind of share and refer out, because we're all thinking on the same umbrella. Why would we not work as a unit together? And not kill yourself doing this business, trying to be everywhere for everyone. That doesn't make any sense.
And everyone, I want you guys to know, like, Nicole she doesn't have like a mega team. No. I mean, this woman works her butt off. She always has since I've known her. And how many listings or how many clients would you say per month or per year do you get from this?
At this point, I can't tell you what I'm not getting from it, because it's all interlinked. I mean, I would work with somebody and I thought they found me through their friend, and they're like, yeah, but she shared your post from Instagram, or she showed me your Pinterest profile, or I found you initially through it, and then we were talking, and I'm like, I'm coming to Orlando. And she's like, well, you got to use my agent. So a lot of and it's so funny, my clients get to know each other when they move in these neighborhoods, and they gravitate towards each other because they're very similar. And that's how I'm able to connect with them online. So I can't tell you at this point, it may be like one or two people. Normally, those are the more difficult people who have never worked with me or found me online. They don't understand what I offer. And a lot of times I'm like, I don't think I'm the best fit for you. So I don't take every client, because I think it's going to be too hard for me to connect to them in a way that's going to be most beneficial to them, because they don't really understand what I can help them with and how I can help move the transaction through at a smoother rate. So it's kind of like a pull and pull type of thing. And I don't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah. And let me ask you a question. When you turn away client, do they want to work with you more?
Oh yeah. The takeaway sale. Yeah. They want to work. But it's like, I know what's about to go down. I'm like, dude, this is going to take me away from somebody who's really my ideal person. I'm going to love to work with. I can help them with design. I can help them with kind of creating, okay, here's the information on the school for your kids, or do you want to plan a day at the beach? That's my content that I've already been giving out to people for years, just behind the scenes.
Yeah. Now you're just publicizing it.
Yeah, I'm just, I create a blog post for it, share. I mean, literally, I can drive people into their spots on the beach that they want to hang out with, go have crabs at this spot, go, hang out with the kids, some free stuff to do, so it's all not about spending money.
It's very wise, Nicole. It's about really what you're doing is you have a niche and you go deep on this niche, and the niche is not about yourself. It's about what buyers and sellers want to see, like what other people want to see.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a soft sell approach.
Yeah, soft selling, but it's also educating them too, because in the process of educating them, they'll ask me certain questions and I'll say, well, I'm not, if I were you, I'm going to give you 3 options. I'm still selling to them, but I'm saying, hey, if you like this community, why did you like it? Well, my friend told me it's the best place to live, but why? And I forced them to go deeper into the thought process. And at that point, they're not working with anybody else but me, because I'm giving them a certain level of value that they're not going to receive from somebody else that may not think like I think.
Exactly. And you're driving people to Florida Homes and Living, right? Is that your blog?
Yes. So I have 2 boards on the Florida Homes and Living. That's my lifestyle one. We're not talking about housing per se. We talk about 90% lifestyle, and then once they get into the weeds of it, I'll have some links that link back to NicoleMickle.com if they want to talk about real estate.
And this site, you've had millions of hits.
I get consistently about 60,000 visitors per month, with about 16,000 new visitors every month. So most are recurring visitors.
60,000 per month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like
I can monetize it now, but I'm not. I'm waiting a little bit to do that.
I mean, that's a ton of traffic, period. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Talk about, people are hoping to get 7 visits, to their website from their, broker provided page.
Pinterest will blow up their websites. That's what they need to understand. But what's more important is once they get to that website, what's there? What are you going to be showing me? Because
that's correct.
they tap out and say, hey, there's nothing here for me to bite on. It's just the same old, rematch, like you said, Randy, 3 steps to do this or 5 steps to do that. Yeah, you give them a little bit of that, but for the most part, they're sick of that. So they want something fresh.
When you talk about lifestyle, travel destinations, and restaurants, Florida living.
You don't want to bait and switch either. You don't want to take somebody who's looking at design and drop them on your IDX website.
Correct.
I've looked at tens of thousands of agent sites over the last 10 years. They're all the same. And we used to have a thing that we used to do when we would go to convention. We would ask random people at the bar where people would go to search homes. And like 9 out of 10 of them said if they were just looking at houses per se, right? Like Zillow and Realtor.com were always the discovery. It was never an agent website. But then we would ask, like, who would you use? And then it was always name drop. So I think that it's smart that you're doing this, and you could even do an advanced hack on it where you put a Facebook and a Google tracking pixel on the website. So that you could retarget them with your real estate stuff, right? So it's like, hey, I'm Nicole Nickel.
Yeah, I could do that to them, but I'm not doing that yet because I don't want to piss them off.
Yeah, like once a quarter, like your face just pops in touring a new community, if you will, right?
And that could be part of it too, because I was going to tell you the other pen that did really well recently, and I don't know if it's because I'm focusing huge on community build outs. Come down to it says Baldwin Park. So I try to find, scroll down a little bit, Randy. So right here, explore Baldwin Park. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip. So when you say the word explore, that gives you a lot of SEO just from that one word and put it in front of the pen. So with that, it gives them a little bit about it. I'm not trying to take them off the page. So sometimes I'll keep you on the page, sometimes I won't. But with this one, I'm able to kind of put the real estate narrative inside of this. So it allows them, if they are piquing their interest on their architectural design, that they will want to go ahead and kind of hang out.
Interesting.
Cool.
So do you do any like lead capture on your blog site where you're capturing people's information, like sending them a newsletter or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. They can do the design quiz. They can do the restaurants, and they're able to go into what they prefer to get updates with. And then there's a newsletter that's sent out to them that allows them to kind of go in that direction.
And who built this site for you? Did you have someone build it, or?
Yes, I have an online business manager that's on my staff that I hired.
Very nice.
What about, are you driving, like how many leads would you say that you're capturing on that website?
I would say per month is going to be a solid 50 because I'm doing such a soft sell to them.
Right. And
those are the people I want to just make sure I'm capturing people who are really invested in me and what I offer.
Right.
Not kind of like
this is a different strategy than the traditional, right? This is a non-transactional play. And this is what, I mean, Ryan Serhant, a lot of these guys that are building like big brands, this is what they talk about, where so many agents are so worried about, well, how many leads and then how many sales did I get from, like, it's transactional, not relational.
Correct.
And you're building a brand like around this, and then you're soft selling in. It's not like, are you looking to buy or sell? Like, no, like Michelle just wants more rug ideas. And eventually when Michelle goes to sell, she thinks of you, right? Like that's, you're providing massive amounts of value.
Yeah, flooring in Florida is a big thing that people that don't understand from the Northeast, when they come down here, they want wood. So that was one of the things I kept coming up with. So I create content based on what people keep asking me about. So I did one on flooring. That one has increased in traffic in the last month, like 200%, because it's doing well, not only on Pinterest, but also on the SEO. People are searching for that information. And by, utilizing that, they're also buying flooring. They're also buying, renovating their office space. And I mean, that's where my Amazon store, as well as another Wayfair. So I have other companies who want to partner with me, and I can sell products through the blog post. And that's that passive component that most people are looking for, that you don't have to do anything. It just does its own thing at night. And then I get like notifications they bought.
Amazing. Hey, check this out. So you saw this article, 13 most powerful Pinterest real estate marketing ideas from the pros. Number 1, Nicole Mickle. That's amazing.
Yeah,
so
that's when I was getting 10 million views. Pinterest changed their algorithm just like everybody else did. And they're focusing more on fall stuff, right? So I knew I didn't have enough fall stuff. And, when they think of fall, they don't think of Florida, but I'm trying to create a concept of Florida fall, like fall in Florida. What to hang out, things to do, but it's just so much, so
Right.
I dropped from 10 million views to like 6 million or whatever, but it's still generating a lot of traffic.
So how much time would you say that you put into Pinterest? Because what I want people to take away is I personally think that all real estate agents, they fit into a different category in their type, right? Like some are analytical and numbers driven and CMA and they gravitate, or a lot of times, like they gravitate to a certain type of buyer or seller, right?
Yes.
Some are more right-brained people, more artistic. They got into real estate because of the shows, even though that's not the case. But there's a way to do this properly. And I don't think that you need to do all the platforms. I don't think that you need to be a dancing TikTok bear and Instagram and LinkedIn and. Like,
No.
This is your baby. You focused in on this. You found a niche in not a very crowded one.
Correct.
And how much time would you say that you dedicate to your Pinterest per week?
Now this is now, not in the beginning. In the beginning, I was obsessed. Okay. So in the beginning, I probably did, I would say per day, 2 hours per day, because I was building content and trying different things. Now that I know what I'm doing, I probably put maybe 2 hours into it a week, if that, maybe an hour a week.
But you have a team and staff working with you, taking some of those. No. So you just now it's just doing the work for you.
Yeah, I'm psychotic. So I do this because I want to see who clicked on it, who commented. I'm the one commenting on this. So I think that's the other thing people do. They want to just, they listen to all these gurus who's never sold real estate nor marketed real estate. Like, how the heck can you do this and you don't know what your client base is asking you and how you can actually serve them? And I think some of it will work, like you're saying, Randy, if you're that personal brand, because they want you, but at some point you get burnt out. You don't want to be that person, or as you're building a team, this is a perfect opportunity with a Pinterest page that you can build out a team. Because now that I understand who I want to serve, now I'm able to build content that's gonna help other people.
Yeah, I think that the personal brand, the personality thing is very hard to change down the road. And unless you want to stay in real estate for 25 years, right? And there's ways to expand kind of outside that narrative. But if that personal brand is nothing but real estate in you, it makes it very hard to change down the road, right? If you want to start doing this or doing that, like Tony Robbins switching from business coaching to selling food, I think would be a challenge, right? Like we've seen him through that spotlight for so long. Yeah. He has always been that personal brand. And now he's selling, like baby food or whatever. I think that would be hard.
This is one thing I want to talk about before I forget. These boards, we make sure you have a personal board, meaning a hobby board. I talk about that in the Inman article too. So
where is this personal board on here? How can we find your personal board?
No. You intermix it. So if you go to just boards, go to save, right? Click on the side that says save.
Yep.
And then from there, you're going to see my interior design boards, right? Mm-hmm. These are things that I love. I don't care if anybody else doesn't like it. It's like, I like modern, I like contemporary, and I like a little bit of farmhouse because I know it's hot, but it's like, I still got to modernize that space. Mm-hmm. So people that cook, like, I'm going to tell you something that probably could blow somebody up is if they like to bake, they need to have a baking board. If they like to golf, they need to have a golfing board. They need to talk about their hobby so in depth, like it's almost talking about real estate. But that's what's going to keep them coming back and having fun on here, because they're going to connect to their people. The people buy houses who go play golf. You know, it's just like you're going out on a golf course.
I see. So it's Florida living, and then they come to your save boards and they see all the stuff that you're into.
Yeah.
And they're like, if I got so much good information here, I bet this board is probably pretty good too.
Yeah, but you're baking bread. If you want to create a personal component to it, it's not always about your face. I'm heavily into my son and swimming. I'm heavily into building him up, you know. So my son can convert so many views for me when I need to have a boost on my page. Like if I put him up and he's swimming, that's going to go through the roof. They're going to text me. They're going to call me. Hey, Nicole, Saul Trice out there. Let me go ahead. Hey, when can we get the kids together? I also have a friend flying in that needs to buy a house. You know, it's part of the process. So I think you're talking about baking bread and your best bread recipe. That can literally go ahead and blow you up. You put that inside of a beautiful kitchen. Okay, now we're talking. Now we want to create that same kitchen. Nicole, can you help me buy that kitchen? I need a white kitchen. I need to go ahead. So I now have people who are more influencer components that are now buying from me. Because they're
look at
already
this
on these platforms.
So I'm looking at your board. It's amazing. Invest in real estate. It's got 26,000 pins in here.
What's that one?
26,000. Oh wait, what's this? Real estate.
Yeah, but that's like a group board. I'm probably
real estate advice. Oh, I see. This is I got it. Okay, got it. So that's
that one doesn't do anything.
Right.
Nothing.
What's this? What men want? Man cave.
Yeah, so my guys come in for that, and then they will send. So 25% of my traffic is going to come from men.
Yep.
But they're not typically the decision makers anyway.
Yep.
They may make a final decision, but who's starting when they say, "Oh, honey, go buy the house. We're making a decision about a house." She's going to go out and start searching for her people.
Of course.
Accurate.
Of course.
But I gave them that board. That doesn't do much of anything.
So you just pin your stuff on here. Got it. Okay.
Correct.
So listen, if you are the type of person that loves visual, right? If you are that artistic, right brain, right type of person, like Pinterest is probably a better platform than to start doing, dancing clown videos on TikTok.
Yeah.
To lack of a better terms, like I'm not hating on TikTok. It just seems like that's what it is. And the few times that I've blogged. But
the things about TikTok is I just got on there to get my name so nobody could be Orlando on TikTok, right? And then once I went on there, I just kind of reposted some of my videos that I had on Instagram and also on Pinterest, and they get tons of views. I don't get anybody saying, "Hey, can I come buy a house?" But what it does it linked it up to my Google business that could possibly bring traction into my Google business. So
right.
I'm not touching that maybe like once a month, if that.
But you're just repurposing all the stuff that you do here on the other platforms.
Correct. All of it's repurposed.
All right, cool. So let's take it around the home stretch here. And why don't you give us a couple tips of agents who are just on here listening, wondering how to drive business to Pinterest? I know you said it, but
the bio.
What would be some great tips for them to get started? What would simplify it, break it down?
So in that bio, I tell people what I do. I help buyers and sellers simplify the real estate design process, sharing quick tips, home design, and Florida lifestyle. So maybe it's somebody who I help sellers only, maximize their most valuable asset for the whatever that verbiage is that they're possibly using already on their primary real estate pages or blog pages that they're creating. And then you want to go ahead and say, hey, that sharing quick tips, this home my design ideas and Florida lifestyle, that's telling them what else you can get from me outside of me being a real estate agent. What is something else that I might be interested in? I don't want to buy anything right now, but oh, heck, you got some cool, skateboard videos because you're the skateboard guy too. I don't know. But I think you need to incorporate what you do from a business standpoint and then what you're going to post from there. I think your top boards need to be about your communities, how you help people, or maybe you do quick tips on, hey, here's some quick tips. Go to my website, download my list. That's going to go ahead and make sure that you're getting the best interest rate out there on your home. Here are my tips to go ahead and restoring your credit. DIY it yourself. You don't need to pay somebody. Take the things that people are asking you in your everyday business and then incorporate it into making it a board, and then developing that board out that you get enough traction that people want to come to you.
There you go.
Love it. And then
Step one.
How do people connect with you to get more information or to connect with you?
They can just, honestly, they can DM me here on Pinterest. They can go to NicoleMickle.com and contact me there. I'm on
Instagram, right?
Instagram, I'm iOrlando, but also, if they want more information, I'm building out more downloadables, free downloadables, and then also the class. But on the free downloadables, it's going to be determined on what people are asking me. So just like I create my business, I'm creating these guides based on what agents are asking for, so that I can really help them to execute, not just give them a whole bunch of blah, blah, blah. To say step one is going to be this, step two is going to be that, so they actually do the work.
Yeah, I know that people are really starting to hit you up for this. So that's cool that you're putting that into that, because you only got so much time to help people as well, so we definitely appreciate that. And we appreciate your time today. If anybody, I think we've already told everybody here how to connect with Nicole. She's awesome. I really appreciate you doing something that's super different, in my opinion, in comparison to what everybody else is pitching and preaching. Like, I don't think that it's like oversaturated, but it's kind of become a little boring, on Instagram and those, and you're doing something that's creative and different and providing value through a different light. And I think even in a downturn, which I think, we're heading in or already in, I think it's that entertainment and escapism is going to be good while people kind of batten down the hatchets,
Right. And that's how, I think it'd be really good for them. I was going to answer, I think it's D Blue. They said about how they're showing it over and over again. Well, Pinterest is looking for, it works just like Google. So if somebody's searching for something that's like white kitchens in, Iowa, whatever, it's going to show your page if you had white kitchens posted 3 years ago. So some of that will become resurfaced and it'll blow up again. And you're like, wait a minute, why am I getting all this, DMs about this? Or why are people reaching out to me about this? And that's what happens. It just organically comes from them to go ahead and show you that level of love. Like, who else is Instagram going to post you like that? Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Great.
I appreciate everything. I hope to see you next week for sure, or in 2 weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks. I will definitely go ahead and meet up, and then anybody that may have questions right now, I'll be on here so they can go ahead and start DMing me directly on Pinterest if they have any questions, and then just say, hey, I was on the HighNote. Just make sure you say HighNote, because I get some crazy stuff sometimes.
All right, we're gonna hit you up. We're gonna take us to that bagel shop. Can't wait.
Jeff Bagels. I'm gonna have to go down there and be like, hey, can I get 2 dozen of these and mix them up?
Yeah, there's nothing like a New York bagel. Like, nowhere in the country makes them like that. So
I'm out here in San Francisco, and man, they don't know how to make bagels.
Well, they're actually shipping in their dough. They're saying
they ship it in. Yeah.
From Brooklyn or from Manhattan?
In the water, because the water's kind of different.
It's all in the water.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nicole. Really.
Bye, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Want to keep getting tips? Hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching, and we hope you get a lot out of this.